All right, we're live. Welcome everybody to Dark Enforcers Community Podcast number 4. I am Mark, aka Chaos Legionnaire on the forum boards and whatnot. With me today, I have Matt, aka Spirit Sage, head of news team. Further farther down the line with no camera today is Crix. Josh, I believe, was his real name.
Yep.
He's also on the news team.
He's the other co-head of the news team.
Right on. And then at the end of the line, we have Sandy, aka Sanzo, and she is the division leader of Neverwinter for us. You didn't bring your dog? You left. You
Oh,
put
she's
doggy
here.
out? Oh,
Here she
there you
is.
go. And that's her lieutenant.
Yes. She makes all the important calls, and I just tell everyone to do it.
So I guess we'll head things off with just Dark Enforcers news as we usually do. So what's going on with that? Killzone is actually being shut down. Last I heard.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I was playing last night, and here's a game. We'll play a game. Guess how many people were online last night in Killzone?
How many?
Including you?
Yes, we'll include me. It doesn't have to be
Including you,
exact.
One including
Yourself.
There's more than one. I'll give you that.
I thought they were getting all sorts of members in Killzone.
Well, we were getting members, but here's the thing: we're aiming for 100 people, right? Like that's kind of
Right.
like a good solid number. If we got 100 people, we would officially have 20% of the people who were on last night. Like entirely, like people who play the game, we would have 20% of them under our banner.
Oh, so now a lot of people are playing it?
That's
Well,
it.
Why?
500
I-
people on last night.
I personally could have seen that happen only because I hang around GameStop a lot, and it's a new game, and having it be already sold as a used game, having a
Yeah.
lot of people trade it in, it's obviously not a very big game that people are gonna like to play.
See, I
So
heard a lot of people actually liked Killzone.
yeah, I don't know. I think some people were falling out of the multiplayer on that. I'm not sure. I personally like the multiplayer, but it has no aim assist or anything like that. So everything you achieve or screw up is 100% like your fault. Like I said,
Your own
there's no
fault.
aim assist.
Oh.
Like if you don't get that headshot and because you're slightly off, there's no like bounding box to snap you to the target, right? So.
See, I like that though. I personally
it,
like
but-
running without aim assist.
But I guess the majority has spoken on that one.
That does suck, because I mean, as far as first-person shooters, I know Call of Duty Ghosts, a lot of people were saying it wasn't as good, and there's a lot of people have flocked to, I think it's Battlefield 4,
Yeah.
as far as that kind of thing. So, do you think there's going to be any kind of rush to go to that game as far
Well-
as like setting up a thing for it, or is that already set up?
That's pretty much what's happening. Like I'm going to try and get Call of Duty and get in there as soon as I can. Yeah, like it's not all bad news. The people who we did get in Killzone, they do play other games, so they're still under the DE banner, and they're going to go with us to other stuff, right? So it was an all for naught. It's just a little sad that maybe it didn't take off, but that's just kind of how the games go, you know. It's you gotta you have to jump in on them early because if they go somewhere, you need that early start. There's no real way to know what game's gonna make it and what one's not. You can guess, but
Well, especially with the launch of the whole next generation of systems too. It's not like it's just the newest game on a
Yeah.
system that's already established.
though with 2.1 million systems sold, I would kind of expect there to be more than 500 people.
Apparently,
Especially-
they're all playing that Geometry. Sorry, they're all playing that like Geometry Wars remake.
Resogun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an awesome game. I was playing that last night.
See, point proven.
So that's probably one of the bigger items on the list. We are moving forward with Battlefield and Call of Duty, so those things are pretty well all going according to plan. There's some cool clan features I've heard about in Call of Duty, so I'll be interested to check that out. Other probably big piece of news would probably be there's new expansion coming out for Neverwinter, isn't there, Sansa?
Yep. Don't
do you
ask
want-
me for details.
What's wrong with
There's a
you?
lot of cool things. Yeah. No, you know how Cryptic works. Everything's coming out. Everything's
Yeah.
centralized, everything comes and goes. You know.
Besides that, it's PvE too, so I mean, I was a longtime player of Perfect World International. I know kind of how that whole game works.
It's an awesome game.
Well, they were
It
just
is.
doing server maintenance tonight or today.
Oh
Rather.
my
Do you
God!
think
What
that
a
was?
freaking surprise!
Do you think that was in preparation for probably the bunch of people who's gonna come back online with the new expansion, or
Oh hells yeah! They
you
always
think
gotta
maybe
touch
they're
up
trying to get
stuff.
ahead of it for once?
It was about time. I mean, Neverwinter's hit some pretty bumpy roads, but I do have to say I think they're finally caught up, and I've seen a hell of a lot less glitches, issues, dungeons here and there, especially the epic dungeons. Still, you get stuck on some of them. Just the other night, I actually got stuck on one. But they're patching things up quite nicely, so it's not anything that's worth quitting the game over anymore, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on. Like, when all of those big bugs were happening last time, it wasn't even when, like, Feywild had already been out for a while, right? The first expansion. Like, when those bugs started happening with, like, the invisible walls and like, getting stuck in objects and all that, that's kind of, like, I don't remember there ever really being a cause for that. It just kind of happened.
They just didn't account for a lot of things, and you know where things started really getting better is when they merged the servers.
Yeah, no, yeah, I think that's
shards,
around
the
when
immersive
those
shards.
glitches.
Yeah, everything started going smoother.
Right on. So, hopefully, with the new expansion launches and it goes over without too many hitches.
Can't wait for that damn Ranger to come out, though.
Yeah, that's the class I'm waiting for. Been waiting for that since they announced the game.
Yeah.
The only range
They
character
need
is
a lot more
Claire.
characters. I played all of them already. I need more characters.
Hopefully, there'll be more to come. I think it'll be hard to guess what would the next class be after this. Like, Ranger was kind of an obvious choice, but
I think
Moving forward.
Neverwinter's going to be around for a while. I mean, it's still a pretty poppin' game, especially for those MMO fans,
yeah.
Neverwinter is definitely not going to be a game that's going to get boring anytime soon.
Right on.
I agree.
So, unless there's anything else I'm missing, I think that's pretty well it for Dark Enforcer stuff. We're going to be having a meeting probably pretty soon, so
Ugh,
more information will come after that, I suspect. All right, well, I guess on to the other kind of slow topic is the gaming news stuff. Next gen, or I guess now current gen's launched, and everybody kind of seemed like they went on vacation in the gaming news area. Because
Yeah,
there doesn't seem to be much coming out now that new systems are out.
Yeah, that's true. Nothing's really caught my eye. Like every morning, I'll wake up, have coffee, smoke my cigarette, and look for gaming news for like a half
Cigarette.
hour or something. Yes.
I saw one piece of news, I guess, for all 2 people who bought the NVIDIA Shield, for those who even know what it is.
Oh yeah, I was reading something about that.
Yeah, you can
isn't
now
NVIDIA
stream to your TV, so there's that.
Isn't it a handheld technically?
Yeah, it's a handheld PC that costs like $3,000.
Oh,
Yo, there's
great.
crazy bundles now with all these the Xbox One bundles and stuff. It's very hard to just get the Xbox. It's now a freaking bundle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
I remember GameStop and that did that with I think it was the Wii. After that came out and became hard to find, when GameStop did get them, they put them all into their bundles, right? That were like $400 because of the extra games and stuff, just so
Yeah.
they could get the extra cash out of something that's really hard to restock.
Right.
So that's probably what they're doing with this, I'm guessing.
Well,
Exactly.
especially with all the back orders that are already in
Yeah.
place, because I mean, yeah, they've sold like 2 or whatever million systems for both the Xbox One and the PS4, but I mean, there's such a backlog because demand, they only make a certain amount because they know, not every single person in the world's going to buy one, so they need to make
Yeah.
a finite amount of supply and then increase it as time goes on. So putting it in a bundle just makes sense because it's like, well, we could make $100 and something profit off of just selling the hardware, or we could put all this software in it and make a whole crap ton more profit off of it just off the bat, because in order to get product X you have to buy product Y with it. So I mean, marketing wise that makes sense.
Yeah,
Oh, marketing wise, yeah. But for those people who are kind of on a tight budget that just wants to get something for
Right.
the holiday for their kid, for Billy, Bob, and Jane,
Yeah.
Well,
Oh yeah,
cor-
customer side it sucks.
correct me if I'm wrong, but they're not even official bundles. Like, they're not even by Sony or Microsoft. They're just ones that, Best Buy or GameStop or whoever just kind of
Yeah.
puts together.
yeah, store specific.
That could be, I don't know personally.
Store
Well-
specific.
Going in for next gen.
As you said, a lot of people run on a tight budget these days. I'm waiting until tax returns also, to see if they can work out some of the bugs before then.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they're still fixing
Like,
them.
so you're a potential consumer, so you haven't gotten either of the consoles yet, but you're kind of looking, right?
Well,
Chris?
I have my Xbox One controller in case a buddy of mine gets one or something.
Okay.
I know a buddy has a PS4 controller, but also that way once I have one, I have a spare as well. So
Right on. So, as a prospective consumer, what's your what are you waiting for between these two? Like, what are you waiting to see from these two systems before, I buy a Xbox One or I buy a PS4? Like, what are you waiting to see?
one thing that I was wondering, because I didn't really follow it a whole lot before it was coming out, because I knew I was going to be waiting anyways, was to see if they'd have to upgrade TVs, and
Okay.
unfortunately they both do. I run on an old school TV right now. Honestly, to see which one had the less plugs was probably the biggest thing.
Okay.
They each have their own issues.
Yeah.
We'll see how it works out, I guess.
Okay. So it sounds like the biggest thing is just the jump to HDMI, right?
Well, it's not a huge deal. I mean, HDMI TVs are surprisingly cheap these days, too. I mean, you can get a 32-inch for around $200.
Okay.
So,
I don't know if you guys know, but when it comes to, I have a Hauppauge and I want to start recording gameplay, but now with the new systems and everything, they have a block on that.
oh, what?
Well-
Block.
They don't have it on the Xbox One, but they do have it on the PS4 for now. It's what's called HDCP. It's basically copyright protection. It's encoded signal that comes out of the system that, unless it's a authorized device, can't decrypt it. They will be patching that out of the PS4 early 2014, so probably February time. But as of right now, yeah, any devices that aren't considered authorized devices can't record.
So
There's a way around it though, but you have to get a lot of fancy stuff.
There's a couple
from
ways
Best
around
Buy.
it.
Yeah.
There are capture devices that do support HDCP. You can get HDCP strippers. Also, if you have a capture device for a PC, most of them are either authorized or can strip it anyway. So, if you're a PC streamer,
it's like you can't even upgrade the Xbox One hard drive, but I was seeing that there's ways that you can do it.
oh yeah,
Because
yeah,
you have to get something from the original hard drive in the Xbox One,
Yeah,
and unless you have that, it's some kind of security encryption stuff or something.
Yeah, there's probably exactly what it is. It's probably some encryption or encrypted boot record on that drive, and if you do what they call ghosting, which is it copies everything over, including the things
Yep.
that you can't see in like a Windows browser, you
Yep.
can probably ghost the drive, and then you can use any drive. But as to what the limitations, if it's not meant for upgrading, if it supports solid state drives
Well,
or
they
hybrid drives, it's hard to say.
the other thing is too that they could probably be scanning your Xbox One to see if there's any changes and ban you from Xbox Live for that.
They
We
could.
know we know they've been on a ban hammer happy
Yeah.
spree. So
It depends on what it says in that terms of service. If they don't have area that says, if you modified your device, it may ban you. If there's no area that says that, then you're fine. But there probably is, I would
say
guess.
almost guaranteed there
Yeah.
is. Look at how many generations now where people have modded systems in
but
order
that is
to do different things. Especially with Sony and PlayStation, where they had all the people modding PlayStations to have the Japanese games be able to be playable in on NTSC in region. We're in region 1, aren't we? Yeah. In region 1, that was an issue.
You talked about PS2?
Yeah, PS2 mostly. Yeah.
Yeah.
With,
and Nintendo too.
Well, yeah,
Nintendo's always
Nintendo have been big jerks in a couple departments as of late with tournaments and things and the YouTube stuff, of course,
Well, yeah,
and all
really
that.
big with the YouTube
What do you
stuff.
mean YouTube stuff? What's been going on with that?
Basically, what they've done is and they're within their rights to do it, but they set it up so that anytime someone streams anything about a Nintendo product, whether they're playing a Nintendo game on a Nintendo system or things of that nature, Nintendo technically owns the rights to that, so they could illegally make the person shut it down and not be able to stream anything, any recordings or upload things.
Why would they do that? Wouldn't that bring them, more publicity, more business and stuff?
Well, a lot of people are saying that, and that's where the people that are streaming and doing the uploading and stuff are like, well, wouldn't you want the business? And you would have to ask like the people at Nintendo why exactly they want to shut it down. The only theory that I would say is, one, they don't want the game spoiled, because some people think that, if I watch like a Let's Play or a speedrun or something of a particular game that's just come out, and I watch the whole thing, and then I won't want to buy it or something like that. That I guess they could use that logic, but otherwise you'd have to ask them. Other than maybe they're just kind of being anal and want to have control over their product.
So basically, what's ended up happening is you can do Let's Plays and whatnot of Nintendo products, but you can't have the ads turned on.
Yeah, and if you have the ad turned on, somehow the ad revenue goes to Nintendo or something. So you get nothing from it.
Yeah. Well, that's obvious. I didn't know people were even try to do that.
Oh yeah, like there's people who
just watching people Let's Playing. So yeah.
Yeah, like there's internet stars who that's what they do is Let's Play, like PewDiePie and whatnot, right? So they're just not doing Nintendo games now. Is basically what it's come down to. So that perspective showcase for Nintendo has just been completely cut off to them now.
Right.
Except for the fact that now there's a YouTube app. Nintendo is now sharing.
Yeah, well, it's because they need more people to watch their Nintendo videos so they can get more dollars.
Like, sorry, you can't have your cake and eat it too. You've already alienated people enough. I would say this is like the biggest misstep they've made since they screwed themselves out of with the N64 with Sony, and screwed themselves out of having like Square and various other companies
they have
in that generation.
They have a standard they have to keep up.
All right. So how about this? Why don't we go around and say what games we're looking forward to for each of the current gen systems?
Yeah, that's not bad.
What games we're looking forward to most that aren't already released?
All right, Josh, you suggested it, so why don't you head it up?
All right. Well, it's no secret I'm a Halo fan. I am looking forward to see what this new Halo game is. Unfortunately, I've heard some stuff that's kind of disturbing. I've heard they're trying to take more of an RPG turn to it, and that would just be an epic fail.
How would you feel if it was like Halo / Borderlands?
I mean, I wouldn't mind so much if
That'd be
it's
cool.
it would be cool if it was one of the like off stream games, not one of the main series.
Mm.
Because everyone knows that they're calling it Halo for Xbox One. They're not calling it Halo 5. If it's one of those sidetrack games, that'd be all right.
Okay.
I don't know if they're going to continue the God of War series for the PlayStation.
Ooh, yeah,
I would
Probably.
assume. I would probably play that.
for sure.
Yeah.
It was okay before they made, what was the last one they made?
Four?
Ascension. That's it, Ascension. Before they made Ascension, basically Sony Santa Monica were talking about making God of War, because Kratos' story is kind of done and over with. So they were kind of leading to go into his brother, which was first kind of shown, I believe, in God of War 2. So they were going to kind of continue the games, but with his brother, who I think his name is Cain, I think. Anyway, that's where they were going to go with it. So hopefully they do God of War, and that's probably how they'll do it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything could be considered Sony's flagship game, I would think it'd probably be God of War.
Yeah.
That's certainly one of them, for sure.
That's one of them, yeah.
Like, I like Sony's strategy in that they're not like Nintendo. Like, they don't have a Mario, and they're not like Microsoft, who has Master Chief, right, which is kind of like their equivalent. Sony's kind of more like, not putting all your eggs in one basket company.
Which is smart of them.
Yeah.
So they don't have any one thing that's as big as Halo or as Mario, but kind of their broad, like, with things like God of War, Uncharted, Ratchet and Clank, and all of their franchises put together, though, kind of amass their killer app, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the combination of.
How about you, Matt?
Well, I'm probably not going to be getting any next-gen consoles anytime soon because I'm more of a PC person.
Okay, so how about PC?
Well,
I know.
What do you know?
Because I'm a huge MMO person, I can't wait for Destiny.
Okay, yeah, that looks really
that's
good.
another one. That and ESO.
Which one?
Elder
Scrolls Online. Shit, yeah.
Remember we were talking about that yesterday? But those are good ones. Like, I love MMOs, although I'm kind of stuck in the 90s. I love EverQuest 1, so that's not technically anything new other than new expansions and whatnot.
Chaos loves EverQuest as well.
He will learn to love it. At some point, I will try and get so I can see his stream while I'm telling him how to do stuff, so I can see the look of agony on his face.
I remember why I never beat Resident Evil 3 now, after playing that. Games are so unself-explanatory.
We got a couple more people to tell us what games they're looking forward to, and then I have a general question for all of you.
Okay, well, they'll get back to you, Matt.
Okay, to go very quickly then through it, because a lot of the stuff that I'm looking forward to is just expansions and stuff onto stuff that's already out there. The kind of stuff I'm probably going to be buying in the near future, assuming that I have money. Abaddon 2, which I mentioned a few videos ago.
I think that was the first one.
Yeah, I think I just love that kind of isometric top-down type of stuff. Also, probably at some point I'll be getting. Depending on how it goes, if I can get into the beta and whatnot for EverQuest Next, I'd like to try that. And then a bunch of other little games, like I'm thinking about getting the new Scribblenauts game, because that's just fun and mindless entertainment, which I enjoy.
The DC one was really cool.
Yeah, I was looking at the DC one. Might get the second Witcher game, which I know isn't new. Let me look at my Steam and see what else I have listed as a favorite, because I just play mostly old games. That's my thing. Like, I'm sitting there playing like Street Fighter Alpha 3 a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Have you tried Warframe yet?
Nope.
I think you and I are the only two with PS4 here.
Yeah.
So-
No, Warframe is
Oh, it's PC also, right? Right.
yeah, off Steam.
Yeah, I love Steam. Yeah, and that's about it for new games. I have like 25 games from like 2 or 3 years ago or later that I'd like.
They're new to you.
They are new to me. I'll probably end up playing even older like MMOs and stuff. But so that's pretty much it.
Yeah, for me, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to Destiny, though that I think is going to be pushed back, and that's going to end up being a long ways out. More kind of coming up soon would probably be. I'm big into fighting games, so I'm looking forward to the new version of Street Fighter and
That too.
Oh yeah.
the new version of BlazBlue.
Hell yeah.
On top of that, though, Lightning Returns looks really cool. So
You guys never played the Walking Dead one, and I wish you guys could, but I can't wait for them to
I
make
might
another
one
Walking
day,
Dead.
when I have money again. They don't take long, but you can beat those in a weekend.
What are
So.
those days like?
What? Money? Weekend? Free time? Who has that?
I know, it seems like whenever I have one, I don't have the other.
Yeah, exactly.
It's BS. But, so yeah, 2 fighting games, Lightning Returns, and that I kind of want to play Watch Dogs. I never kind of got
Yeah.
on the hype bandwagon, but I'm interested to play it, though. So those are probably the more immediate ones. Alright, so you said you had a general question there, Sam?
This is gonna be a fun question
Oh
for all
God.
you old people in there.
Mm.
No, I'm trying to take it back. The other day I was kind of like sitting there waiting for my class to started daydreaming, and I'm like, man, what was the first game that got me hooked into gaming in general? And for me, I think I was somewhere around 4 years old. I was on the PC, and my dad introduced the very first Quake to me.
Okay.
And I loved it. After that, then I went into my and then after that, my favorites would be Donkey Kong, the traditional Donkey Kong, the original Street Fighters,
Yeah.
and
the original Street Fighter, like Fighting Street, like the side-scrolling beat 'em up.
like
talking about number 2.
the Super Nintendo Street Fighter.
Yes,
Yeah,
World
too.
War, most likely.
Yeah. Man, nothing will ever beat those games in fun. What about
Fair
you
enough.
guys? What was your ultimate childhood game?
I guess I'll go next. I didn't really play games much as a kid. Like, we had an NES, but my dad played it more. I just kind of watched. We had a Commodore 64. I didn't really play that. The games are, like, just too, I don't know. They just weren't fun. But, the first game that, like, I really got into gaming, like, oh, this is, like, this is a medium that can be more than just, I don't know, like a way to kill a few minutes was for me Metal Gear. Like, that was the first game that showed me, hey, games can have a story and
You mean Metal Gear
actually be
Solid,
thought provoking. Yeah, Metal Gear Solid. Yeah,
right? Okay, because Metal Gear was an NES game, and it
Metal Gear was an NES. Actually, it's not
and
bad
it
NES.
was
game.
pretty freaking hard. And Snake's Revenge, the sequel that was like really poorly set up on the NES, that really wasn't anything like the Japanese game was.
No, actually,
Solid.
last year I went back and played the 2 MSX ones that come on the Metal
Oh,
Gear
yeah.
collection.
MSX ROMs are awesome.
And yeah, some of that stuff's pretty, like, it's definitely of the time. Like, it's really cryptic, but that's just kind of games of those time. But other than that, like, they weren't that hard. As long as you knew where to go, they were actually not that hard, I found.
Yeah, well, if you played the MSX, like, it's very different from the NES version, at least for Snake's Revenge.
Well, yeah, Snake's Revenge isn't even, doesn't have anything to do with anything, really.
Well, that's
The
what I
first
mean,
one's
yeah,
pretty close to the MSX one. I was surprised how close they
yeah,
actually
the original
did.
Metal Gear is, yeah.
But yeah, so I guess There's 2 left.
Okay, well, I guess. Oh, you can go first if you want.
Oh, is it on you, Matt?
Well, I was gonna go, but you started.
Oh, that's all good. Go on, man.
Okay. Well, as people that watched the first stream know, the very first game I ever played, or at least have memory of playing, was in fact ET for the Atari 2600. So that wasn't exactly a good start. But I would say the game that really got me hooked as far as continuing to play games was probably the first Dragon Quest, which is called Dragon Warrior in North America.
Right on.
RPGs have always been like a staple of mine, so certainly that was the first one that got me, and then Final Fantasy later on got me as well. I could list half the NES library and like half the Super Nintendo library for influences for games, so I'll refrain from that at this point. But as far as a game that, I guess the game I've played the most, as far as put the most hours into or I played through it the most times, is definitely EverQuest 1 for the PC.
Yeah.
I've probably put at least a year worth of real time into that game since '99, so I've by far played that more than anything else, so I love it. Like I have an EverQuest mouse pad.
Damn, man.
Nice.
I've had that since '99. It's kind of gross.
Keep it in a box. You might be able to sell it for a hell of a lot more in a year or two.
Well, it was made by someone. It wasn't like I just my mom printed off the picture and kind of scanned it. I still have the book somewhere, so I can just make another one.
If I kept my Super Nintendo, man, in 10 years' time or more, yo, do you know how much I could sell that for?
I saw my first Super Nintendo. I bought it 3 years ago.
Yeah, I love all your old games, but every time I'd be at your house and I'd be like, "Oh, let's play this," and you'd be like, "Nah."
Well, it depends on the game you choose. And I think it was more just because we know we had limited time, and there's other things that kind of wanted to had a higher priority. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like 8 hours
I don't know what I was
through.
thinking. Or maybe you're picking games like Willow or something that kind of sucks.
It's not the most terrible NES game, you know. We can work our way
Willow-
through it. It's
Willow's
not Dr. Jekyll,
probably
Mr.
the
Hyde,
first thing that like scared the shit out of me for games too, and there's no real reason for it. Well, I guess there's skulls and stuff, but it was just something about like the atmosphere that game had just creeped the fuck. Well, I did it now.
You only went halfway.
Creeped the hell out of me.
Alright, so I think I got y'all beat on the oldest game. My grandma had this old ass Mac, and it had a game called Glider. You take this paper airplane and you use like the directional keys, and it's a paper airplane and you're trying to get through the house. You have like basketballs and shit bouncing up and down that you have to avoid. It's crazy. Yeah, it's called Glider.
Paper airplane.
Yeah, it was an old school game, but no, like really, it was more of like the Super Nintendo. I later on got into Pokemon and stuff. I'm still a beast anytime I pick up one of those games. Who isn't?
I challenge you. I have a 3DS. I challenge you.
I don't have it anymore. Damn it!
Well, you just have to pick it up again. You know?
Mine broke. I can't do nothing about that.
You're just scared.
No, when you got kids in the house, I'll tell you what, gaming becomes a lot different. It's not even funny.
Okay, lesson learned, guys. Never have children.
Yeah, your game systems get broken and shit.
That's why my stuff's in a lock is in a room that has a lock on it. I can lock the door.
I think that's what's gonna happen too. As far as PC goes, I was always into like Perfect World. I played that off and on for a lot of years. And then I don't know. I like Diablo was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Diablo 2.
Yeah.
Halo was what got me into Xbox. As far as PlayStation, I used to like the Tony Hawks a lot, and then it just got to be too. It got to be too much. Like the old ones. The old ones were the best. Like, the first one was the best one. After that, it just got to be too much.
What was the Tony Hawk where you're just like, nah, I'm done?
Probably 3.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I played a little bit of some of them later on, and they were just shit.
Yeah, they got pretty bad. Like I think the last good one was probably, at least for me, like Underground 1 or 2.
Mm.
Underground 1 wasn't too bad, honestly. It wasn't.
But yeah, they kind of became a real big stinker series after
It's
after a
like
point.
they tried adding too much into it. To me, it's like the same with Madden games. They add too much different crap into them.
Did
You
you see
know?
the Tony Hawk where they have the peripheral like board that you actually stand on and kind of do
No,
flips?
I did,
Yep,
yeah. I
that's a
saw
I
that.
thing.
never.
That's a
What?
thing. Look it up.
Oh my
We were
god.
selling that when I was working at the EB. It was sitting at the very top shelf, like 10 feet in the air, with like layers of dust on it, and no one used it.
Oh, it's great. That's why we have so many of them.
Yeah.
We keep selling out, so we just have to stock a ton.
Oh, good
Yeah.
times.
So how about you guys? Do you guys have questions that you want everyone to answer? Or?
Well, let's see.
I always have questions.
Yeah, that's the
Well,
thing. It's
It depends on.
prioritizing.
Okay, well, one of the things that I was thinking of and it kind of goes back to what you were asking before, but not so much what is your first game, but what is the genre or mechanic or something in games that like really stuck with you? Like so, like a lot of people really like doing like obviously like first-person shooters, they like using a mouse and keyboard rather than a controller. Or if you're playing RPGs, you like to have it be like turn-based, or you like to have it be free-form or open. Like, is there any particular kind of mechanic in a game that really that you're just like, wow, I really wish more games would have that kind of thing in it.
Wow, that's a good one. That's one I'll have to think on a second. Well, you might want to head it off while the rest of us think if there's something you got in mind.
Okay, well, what I was thinking of is one thing I really like in RPGs, and I know this is even though I like a lot of Japanese RPGs, and most of them are turn-based. I really like the Tales series and the Star Ocean series, where you have battles, you run into stuff on the world map, and then you go into a separate battle screen, and you can run around and have like full control over your character. You can do all sorts of different moves and attacks and stuff in real
Yeah,
time, and I just find that most games tend to either be you're always in the overworld and you see everything kind of like Oblivion or Skyrim or something, or
yeah,
it's traditional like kind of like Final Fantasy, and you're just kind of like standing there, and yeah, you have like you're manipulating menus basically to do stuff. And I wish that more games, especially on PC, would have more real-time battles because as much as I like a lot of the overworld games like the Baldur's Gates and stuff like that, I really like having the ability to have a battle screen and run around and do kind of
yeah,
what you want.
yeah.
And I also, sorry, you go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say like Tales of Destiny 2 type of thing, or are you
Or
talking
any of
like
the
more Skyrim?
No, I'm talking about like the Tales series and stuff. Like the best example
Okay,
I can say, even though it was not a great game for its story, was Star Ocean 4, or you could say
okay,
Tales of Vesperia, Tales of Symphonia, those kind of games. The other mechanic I wish that they would have more of, or just a game type in general, is like Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance, which was the PS2, and it might have been on GameCube
right,
as well. Where it's open world, you're running around, you have one character, and it's kind of Diablo-ish, but it's not because you're using a controller. It's a little bit more. There's more
yeah,
story. There's hubs to do things in, and they only had basically 4 games that used that engine and did that. And it was the 2 Baldur's Gate Dark Alliances and the 2 EverQuest. I think it's
Champions of
Champions of
Norath.
Norath. Yeah. And they just like decided, oh, we're not going to ever do a game type like that again. And I don't know if it just wasn't popular or no one
Yeah, I
really
don't know what
wanted
it
it.
is.
But I really liked
I'd wish
that.
they would do more of those, especially now with the digital age. Sony Online Entertainment, who I believe are the ones who did make those, even though they're not really online games.
Well,
Uh,
SOE did the Champions of Norath. The Baldur's Gate Dark
okay,
Alliance was. I don't think it was Black Isle. I think it was the same people
that
did both
sounds
games.
familiar.
Black Isle is who did Baldur's Gate, the
Okay, that's why.
actual old school ones. And I think they might have done the first Fallout as well, but don't quote me on that.
Yeah, those top-down like open world sort of RPGs, you don't really see those much.
Yeah, the except for in indie games like Abaddon and stuff. And again,
Yeah.
I could go on for years about that. And if that question is a little bit too vague, I guess a better way of saying it is what game series or what kind of game that just no longer exists out there would you want to see continued? And
So-
the one that sorry.
You're talking about something that doesn't like specifically exist, not necessarily something that does exist, but you like to see on a broader range.
Well, either. Like, I just was expanding it.
Oh, okay.
Like, if it's something that's not popular, it tends to lead to not existing or just indie game people talk about it. So, like, for example, I'll throw out, I really love Diddy Kong Racing, and I understand for reasons that are not really related to the game mechanics, they can't do that now because Rare is owned by Xbox, and Nintendo's obviously not going to let them have whatever rights to the characters to do that and stuff. So I would love to see another kind of game that's set up like that, because the few entries other than Mario Kart that are out there are just not really my thing.
Right. Yeah, like as for mechanics that are still around, I'm always a fan of just character customization in games, especially games where like if you have a set character, obviously. Well, you can kind of customize, but it's not really necessary. But there's lots of games where you have silent protagonists, and you can't edit them. So it's like I have no reason to care for this character on any level.
So, like Zelda?
Kind of. That's one of my problems with Link, is it's like, who is this guy? Like, there's some... I know there's story and whatnot, like there's definition, but you know, you gotta kind of go digging for that. But more of it is like, oh man, I know there's more recent examples too, but
the main character from Persona, the Persona series.
Yeah, that would be like an example. Would kind of be the main character in Persona, or back in PS2 generation would be the main character of Grand Theft Auto 3, which is why I think they did change it later on. Even though then the characters did become more defined, so it was less necessary, but whatever. Like, yeah, or how even Final Fantasy 12 with Fawn is like, the guy's borderline useless. Why not just make him, you know, if he's supposed to be an insert character, why not just make him editable? I don't know. But also, not only just have character customization, but good character customization. Because even games like Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, which you can edit your character, it's like, it's so minimum choices, it almost doesn't even matter.
Yeah, and you can make Derp Face so easily with that. Remember the guy that I made that looked exactly like Ryan? I think that was in that game. That was like so cool.
So it's not only character customization, but more specifically good character customization in games where it's not necessarily a very well defined character. I think that's the biggest one for me, at least right now. I don't know if there's anything that you guys wanted to see maybe in more games, or...
You first.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Alright, fine. I always been a fan of party systems, whether it's RPG, MMO, or, you know, any of that kind of stuff. Even first-person shooters, like Xbox Live and stuff. I like party systems.
Okay.
To me, playing games isn't just something I'd like to do all by myself. I like to either be hanging out with buddies in real life, or, you know, Xbox Live, or what have you.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the short list of things too that probably consoles do better than PC games too, is because it is a bit more controlled environment. Is especially with Xbox One and PS4, you can have your party and you can all be in different games, but if you want, it will also carry you from game to game. Like when I entered a Killzone match, it automatically sent out invites to all the people in our party, which even my Xbox 360 didn't do that. I had to go in there and send individual invites even to the people in my party.
Right.
And it does really well at just keeping you all together, so you can game hop and it's fine. Like it's not like the games are their own separate environments. It's more the console is the environment now.
That's awesome. That's what I like to hear.
Is there any other ones, or is that like the big one for you probably?
Kind of like what you said with some games, character customization, especially in MMOs.
Yeah.
But you know, basically just what you guys have already said.
Right on.
Ready for Sandy?
When it comes to me, I am a little more old school when it comes to gaming.
Okay.
For example, I originally started with first-person shooters, with my Quake, and I love first-person shooters, and I still do. But my issue is I hate realistic first-person shooters. I hate one shot you're dead. Come on, it's frustrating, it's annoying. No one gives a flying shit. Um, I like to keep it in the fantasy realm, kind of to the point where it's like the Quakes, all four of the Quakes, all the Dooms, and all that kind of stuff. But that's more like
Right.
my preference. That's what I like. I don't like the loose controls. I like it when it used to be more stiff. Now it's
Yeah.
so freaking loose. I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. The controls are just so different that I just ended up sucking so bad, and I said, okay, screw this. And then I kind of stuck with PC for a while, but I did take a big break, a huge chunk of years in between to first-person shooters. Then going back into PC, I'm like, oh, I really like in PC I like more of the modern stuff, like the new MMOs. I like those. Those are cool. But I'll go with you, Chaos. I need more detailed stuff, such as Skyrim and Oblivion and stuff. I like when you have to put a lot of thought into your character, and there's several different ways of going about something.
Right.
I don't like the one-way storyline. Yay, everyone ends up the same exact way.
Yeah.
I don't like that either. But, I think there's a fair balance. It's just nothing's ever going to be the same like it was 10 years back.
Yeah, like as
Yeah,
for
I see.
first-person shooters, I think the closest I've come to, because I Quake 2, I love, have all the expansions in that, and I even like Quake 4 to an extent. I think the closest for me to getting back to that was probably back at Killzone 2, which is why I did get into Shadowfall, because it is a little more, not clunkier because it's smooth controls, but your character feels like he has more weight, and you do certainly take a good few shots to take a guy down, and it was a bit more old school feeling in that sense.
That's cool.
But yeah, right on. Well, maybe we'll make this short episode. What do you guys say?
I don't know.
Because
It's up to you guys.
the gaming news has been pretty quiet,
Slow.
as I
Huh.
said.
Doesn't matter to me. I mean, I could talk forever, but would anyone listen?
No,
Wow.
no one would ever listen.
Exactly.
They can just turn it off if they don't want to listen, so there's no real
That's it. You know
harm.
what? I'm muting you right now.
Well, fine. Blah 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 blah.
Awesome.
Blah
That's
blah
some
blah blah.
quality
Wah,
stuff.
wah, 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 wah.
Oh no.
Well, maybe that's a sign to shut this down then for this week. So that's an episode. Till next time, hopefully we'll have some more gaming news. I'm sure we will. And
Probably not.
yeah,
Not till
Well,
after the
Just
New
add
Year's.
more people.
yeah, we'll just add more people. If we can't be interesting, at least we can be crazy, right?
We'll bring
Right?
up more controversial questions.
There you
Oh
go.
God.
I can imagine.
All right, so from me here, Chaos, Matt, Crix, and San, we're signing out, and we'll see you next
See you
week.
guys next week.
Later.
Bye.